Hey, it's Kevin. Welcome back to another episode of the Road Warrior video blog. I've been in kind of a funk for the last couple of weeks. I touched on it. If you're a listener of my Mason Minute podcast, I touched on it briefly a couple of weeks ago. As you know, when we first started doing these, we were doing them for my Super Cooper, the Mini Cooper, that I've now had a little over 10 years. And as I've told you before, because I don't drive it that often anymore, because it costs so much to repair, I knew I had to get another vehicle, hence getting the new Scion, hence driving my Ford Explorers, and just putting off the inevitable, putting off the expensive repairs. So after we sold our house recently, I finally decided to take some of the money we had left over and finally drop the $700,000, $800,000, whatever it was going to cost to get the Mini Cooper repaired. So I took it into the shop, and of course, well, it was more expensive than I thought it was going to be, or than I'd hoped it was going to be, but it hadn't been repaired in a couple of years. It had gotten a lot of driving in the last couple of years, hadn't repaired it in the last couple of years. So I knew there were going to be some things that I didn't know that were there, that were going to be issues, and we caught some of those. But then I got the bad news, and I got the news that, well, it's not terminal, but it's terminally expensive. Because where I spent, a couple of grand getting it fixed this time and getting up and running, well, I asked before what the problem was going to be. They said it could be engine related. Now we're looking at engine related problems because the Mini Cooper I own is supercharged. It has a supercharger, which makes it a little bit more peppy. And of course, well, at 165,000 miles in, superchargers are bound to go bad. At a decade in, superchargers are bound to go bad. And the bad news that you don't ever want to think about, how much is that going to cost to repair? They think about $4,000. And I said, it comes to a point, well, I love my Mini Cooper. I love driving it. It's a skateboard on wheels. It's been a great car. It's time to seriously think about getting rid of it. And I talked about on my podcast, the Mason Minute, about how I know we shouldn't get attached to material things, but every now and again we do, and I got attached to that car. My wife had a Mini Cooper. She didn't have the supercharged version, but I never really liked hers. It seemed a little bit slower. I liked mine. I liked the look of it, and I don't want to say fell in love with the car, but, when my wife's lease was up on hers at, 40, 50,000 miles, we turned it in. No big deal. I always, wanted to keep the Mini Cooper forever, and I guess I could, just knowing it's going to cost me $4,000 or more to get repaired. And again, the car may be worth $4,000, maybe worth $10,000. I don't know what a 10-year-old Mini Cooper is worth these days. But I don't necessarily know if it's worth replacing the supercharger right now. I asked the mechanic, I said, so how long do I have, doctor? Is it 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years? And of course he said he didn't know. It's not like a cancer patient where they can tell you. There is no stage 1, 2, or 3 of superchargers. Because I don't drive it every day, that's a good news. It could last 6 months, it could last a couple of years, but just be prepared for it. So I'm dealing with that. It's kind of like losing a member of the family. It's kind of like last week I talked about procrastination. I'm kind of avoiding the inevitable. I know I need to get rid of it. I know I need to clean it up. But in order to do that, I'm going to have to wash it, wax it, clean the interiors, fix a tear in the seat, and just all the stupid stuff you don't want to have to deal with. You got to spend money to make money. And it looks like I'm going to have to do it with my Mini Cooper. If you want to buy it, let me know. I'll make you a good deal. Back with another Road Warrior video blog. We'll do it again next week. KevinMason.us. You can find us each and every week. And of course, too, we post them on YouTube. You can watch it there. Wherever it's easiest for you. If you want to subscribe on YouTube, you want to catch the RSS feed at KevinMason.us at the Road Warrior video blog, feel free. We'd love for you to check us out each and every week, and don't miss it. Another episode of the Road Warrior video blog next week. We'll see you.